Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkprodigy.com, and on today's video, we're going to break down exactly how many days you need for Walt Disney World. And of course, if you are in the process of planning a Disney vacation, this is probably where you're starting, right? This is the starting point, trying to figure out exactly how many days your vacation should be. And it is a complicated question because, of course, just like a lot of things, there's, not one size fits all. Everyone has their own preferences and every family has different goals for the next Disney trip. So we are just going to try to help, and we're going to break down some of the most common, vacations that we do see here at the Park Prodigy, just to help you be as prepared as possible for your next Disney trip and just get that first step out of the way. So if you are in the process of planning a Disney trip and you're trying to figure out exactly how many days you need, just be sure to stick around to the end of this video. I'm really excited, so let's get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we are about to break down exactly how many days you need at Walt Disney World during your next Disney vacation. And trying to balance the right amount of time without breaking the bank is by far one of the hardest challenges of booking a Disney vacation. And of course, the Disney parks are constantly changing, which means that new rides, festivals, shows, closures, and so much more might impact your trip, right? So that's where everything comes into play. And that's why we're trying to help you figure out exactly how many days do you need for your next Disney World vacation. And we're going to try to break down a couple different ways, based on family sizes, ages of everyone in your party, which parks you really are interested the most. And again, by the end of this video, I do hope that you did find this video helpful and you are prepared for your next Disney trip. But let's jump right in and let's start with the most common question, that is how many days should I go to Disney World for? Now, as a general rule of thumb, we would recommend at least 7 days at Walt Disney World, especially if this is your first Disney trip, and especially if you are trying to, let's say, quote unquote, get everything done. Now, I'm going to be real with you. To get absolutely everything done in Disney World, you need a lot more than 7 days. But I think that's the beautiful and the amazing thing about Walt Disney World is there is so much going on and there's so much cool stuff at the Disney theme parks. I do this for a living and there is stuff that I still haven't done, right? And my biggest thing, and you see if you've been watching our videos, is have a game plan for your Disney World trip. You're doing the right things. If this is what you're thinking about, hey, I want to make sure that I really do, figure out how many days I need. You're taking the right steps, and taking it one step further, have a park plan going into your day. And once you decide how many days, just come up with your priority list. Again, that will just allow you to get so much more done during your trip, but setting the expectations and understanding hey, maybe I don't have to do absolutely everything because there are certain experiences that I don't think my family is really going to be interested in. And that will just allow you to relax once you get down to Disney, because I promise you, if you try to do absolutely everything, you'll be so overwhelmed and you'll drive yourself crazy. So that is the first thing. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're looking to go home and feel like, wow, we got a lot done on our Disney trip, our recommendation is give yourself 7 days. And on average, we have seen that most families do visit between 5 to 6, right? So that's pretty much on average what most families swing. We would say give yourself 7 because, again, what we feel like 7 will do is it will give you time to relax during those park days so you aren't burnt out and you actually have the energy to keep going, especially go see fireworks at night, go see your favorite characters, all that good stuff. And if you're wondering hey, Mike, I know you just said that, 7 days isn't enough, but is 7 days too much? And again, what I would say is kind of jumping back to the basics. Walt Disney World has 4 main theme parks, 2 water parks, a shopping district, and over 30 hotels that add to the magic, right? So you'll see a lot of the best restaurants are over at the Disney hotels. And that's especially why, for that reason, we feel like going to Disney World for 7 days, it might not even be enough, or it's not enough to do everything, but it is enough to really plan an amazing vacation. So now breaking down, let's say that you're just trying to get a feel for how many days should you spend at each of the Disney World theme parks. And again, this is where it really gets interesting and why different families might have different needs. So we're going to break down the individual parks, because what that will allow you to do is figure out, okay, well, how many days do I specifically need for Walt Disney World? So what we would say is starting with the Magic Kingdom Park. Now, if this is your first visit, if you have young kids, especially if your kids are, let's say, 4 and under, or if you have 1 or 2 kids who are 4 and under who are not going to meet a lot of the height requirements over at some of the other Disney parks, the Magic Kingdom is the place for you, right? Because it by far has the most rides and character experiences for kids who are below the height requirements, meaning that it has a lot of has a lot of rides that don't have height requirements, right? And again, even if you have kids who are meeting the height requirements, but this is your first Disney trip and you want to experience everything at Magic Kingdom, we would give Magic Kingdom 2 days. The main reason is Magic Kingdom, just from a ride standpoint, has the most rides out of all the Disney World theme parks. It also has a lot of character experiences, and it has parades, it has fireworks at night, and it has some really, really amazing restaurants. So if you don't want to feel rushed and you want to be able to really get onto every single Magic Kingdom ride, again, we feel like the perfect game plan is 2 days. You might even need an extra half a day after that, especially if you're the type of family where you're going to enjoy breaks back at the hotel, afternoon pool days, stuff like that. Yeah, you might need 2.5 days. So again, we would definitely be prepared for that and plan accordingly. Now, moving over to EPCOT, which is another very, very popular park. And back in the day, EPCOT was typically always like if you would ask it might have even been like a half a day park if you weren't experiencing World Showcase. But now with the expansions, a lot of moving parts, a lot of new rides going on at EPCOT. Specifically over in the back, we have Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and now we have the newest ride, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This is definitely a full day to a day and a half park. And if you're going for one of the festivals, right, for let's say my adults who are visiting Walt Disney World, or those older families who want to eat their way around World Showcase specifically for a festival, you're going to need a day and a half to possibly even 2 days, okay? From a ride standpoint, again, getting back to the rides, this is a day park. And it's really you need to plan a full day at this park if you plan to get on all the rides, not even from a time standpoint, but now from a Disney World operational standpoint, where they have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind running through a virtual queue. What that does is if you join a virtual queue, you essentially don't know when your queue will be called to get on the ride, right? So what that means is your queue could be called at 10 o'clock in the morning to go get on Guardians of the Galaxy, or you could be called at 8 o'clock at night, right? So if you're trying to get on every single ride, you need to now allow yourself to stay in that theme park because you don't want your queue to get called and you're over at, let's say, Hollywood Studios, or you're not in the park. So again, these are like the moving parts, that you need to be prepared for, because you could probably get through all the rides if you really just went and got on every single, you rope dropped, and you get through the rides easily by 2-3 o'clock, in my opinion. But these are like some of the moving parts where, but now the virtual queue will impact that. So you need to plan at least 1 day. Moving over to the festivals, there is so much food and stuff to try at these festivals that, again, I love to eat. I'm from New York. Everything revolves around food. There's no way I could possibly try everything within 1 day. It's impossible. When we go for food and wine, we'll give ourselves at least 2 days, sometimes even 3, to really try to get everything in around the food booths. So again, moving parts, be prepared, and this is where what's most important to your family. These are just some of the most common things that we see here at the Park Prodigy. Okay, so now moving over to Hollywood Studios. And again, this is another one that has changed dramatically over these past couple of years with the new additions of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and, of course, Toy Story Land. So before these two new lands opened, again, Hollywood Studios was a 1-day park, even with all the thrill rides and the shows and stuff like that. Now, I would say it's definitely a full day, 1-day park, and maybe even a day and a half, depending on what type of experiences you want to have over at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And the reason why I say that is because Galaxy's Edge now has a droid depot where you can go and you can build your pretty much own droid, but it also has the lightsaber where you can go and create your own lightsaber, right? Outside of that, there's a lot of shows. We don't have The Little Mermaid back as of the time of the recording of this video, but we still have Beauty and the Beast. We have Indiana Jones, and of course Disney just brought back Fantasmic, right? So there's a lot to do over at Hollywood Studios. It's definitely a full 1-day park if you're trying to go on every single ride. If you're visiting with young kids, this could be a half-day park, depending on what you're looking to get done. Again, though, for when you compare this park, let's say, over to EPCOT, because of the shows, I would say that there's more to do at this park for the young kids. But if I had to pick, and I'm kind of going all over the place, but if I had to pick the parks for the young kids, I would always typically go Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and EPCOT. Now, of course, I speak with families and sometimes they say, they'll leave Animal Kingdom off the list. And I'll ask them and they'll be like, well, we have a local safari that we take the kids to. So I don't even think they would be excited about Animal Kingdom. That's fair. And then, you just swap out. I would go Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, EPCOT, Animal Kingdom in that order. But again, Hollywood Studios at this point in time is definitely a full day park, maybe even a day and a half, depending on what you're looking to get out of this park. Okay, and then last, moving over to Animal Kingdom, and this is an easy one, especially since as of this point in time, Disney hasn't brought back like any of the night entertainment that we had right before COVID. So we would say, short and simple, this is a one-day park. Majority of people, even the younger adults, families visiting with young kids, this is a one-day park. The biggest attraction over here is going to be Avatar Flight of Passage, and you'll see if your kids aren't tall enough to get onto Avatar Flight of Passage, all of the other rides, in my opinion, you could pretty much get through them within a half a day, right? But if you're trying to do everything, if you're trying to experience characters, and if you're trying to get some of the shows in, such as the Lion King and the Finding Nemo show, then yes, this could be a full day park. And the other thing I enjoy about this is going to be more of a chill day. This park is definitely big, so there's a lot of walking, but from a getting on ride standpoint, in your Disney World trip, this is more of the chiller type of day, especially once you get that Avatar Flight of Passage ride out of the way. You'll see your day will just run so much smoother. And so there, at the end of that, if you guys can see, pretty much if you just follow the basic Magic Kingdom 2 days, EPCOT 1 day, Hollywood Studios 1 day, Animal Kingdom 1 day, you're already at 5 days within the Disney World theme parks. And that doesn't include any of the Disney water parks. That doesn't include a break in between. So now, as you could see, when we recommend at least 7 days, right, you could say, well, yeah, because if we take a break in between and then you have a travel day, you're pretty much at that 7-day mark. But on the flip side, let's say that you have family with older teens, and you're pretty much just looking to go on all the coasters, all the thrill rides. When you do Magic Kingdom 1 day, EPCOT 1 day, Animal Kingdom 1 day, Hollywood Studios 1 day, you got 4 days right there. So even if you take a break in between, you could bring that time frame down to 6 days, right? So you could see that you could look at this so many different ways, right? Another thing that I will say too is, let's say you only have 3 days. This is another very, very common question that we receive, right? If I was doing it for 3 days, what I typically would do is I would always do EPCOT half day or Animal Kingdom half day. And then you kind of plan around that, right? So you could do Magic Kingdom, EPCOT 1 day, you do Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom the other day, and then maybe you do Hollywood Studios, or you do Hollywood Studios, EPCOT 1 day, Magic Kingdom full day, and then Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom the other day. The other thing you can do as well, and again, this is more just getting the most out of short trips, right, is plan and see if Disney has like an extra special event, right? Specifically during the Halloween and Christmas times a year, they'll do Mickey's Not So Scary and Mickey's Very Merry. And then during, let's say, January, February, what's going on right now is Disney has the after hour events. Now, one of the negatives about this, and one of the reasons why some people, don't like them, is because it's an extra price, right? It's an extra ticket event. But again, if you're planning your trip and this is for the families that are trying to get the most done in a short amount of time, yes, these special events, what it might allow you to do is maybe you have older kids, or maybe you don't want to do 2 full days at Magic Kingdom. What I will say is a lot of times during these special events, you can get a lot of rides out of the way because there's less people in the parks than in a normal day. So maybe you plan that and you say, hey, we're going to do an after hours event at Magic Kingdom. Don't get me wrong, it's a late night, especially for me these days. It starts at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and it will go till 1. But if you could literally, especially during the quote unquote after hours, which is not Mickey's Not So Scary and Mickey's Very Merry, you could pretty much get on almost every single ride within 3 hours because there's only like a couple thousand people in the park. It's kind of crazy. So again, these are ways that you can get a lot done if you're doing those shorter trips. Okay, and so last but not least, how many days do you need at the Disney water parks? And I would say the water parks are, they're a day. You could do them in a half day, right? So if you want to do a half day at Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, and then hop over to one of the main Disney World theme parks for a half day over there, you definitely can pull that off. So that is the list, everyone. That's essentially how many days, or those are the tips and tricks to come up with how many days you personally need on your next Disney World vacation. I really do hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope you are now a little bit more prepared for your next Disney trip. And if you are in the process of planning a Disney World vacation and you do need a little additional help, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video, and until next time, I will talk to you soon.